Hey folks, welcome to season 2. We're going to start off with a kind of a doozy. It seems like you've been enjoying the more detail-oriented videos that have a lot of information. They are trickier to film and to edit, but as long as you guys are liking them, we'll keep doing them. So we're going to get into the purge blower repair. They are in need of attention. So let's do it. We're going to service this exhausting air blower. This exhausts hot air from the engine compartment. Cool air is drawn in from the vents further up, but this draws the hot air out, so it causes added circulation while the engines are running. It's had a spot rusted out and been dripping rusty water here for a while, and it just needs some attention. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect it, unbolt it, get it outside. I'll clean up the rust, and then we'll fiberglass the spot that's where it's actually rusted through. We'll put fiberglass layers on there and then paint it up and put it back on. So we're going to get started. Well, we already found something interesting. There's a nice insulation nick on the one of the 220 wires. So we'll get that addressed while we work on it. Okay, we're down to our last bolt. All right, come in here and give me a hand. Okay. We got this thing off. Check out how loose these belts are. Oh my God. And they look bad, so we'll swap them out. And this flange, yeah, that's worse cancer than I'd hoped for, but we'll make it work. We'll just lay fiberglass up all the way around here in excess of the distance we need, and then we'll just trim it all back, re-drill it. We went to check the other side. Look at these belts. That's unbelievable. Well, good timing. This one looks pretty bad too. Here's a quick view of just how bad the starboard side blower is. You can see how much material is missing. I even got a blow through spot here. But this is going to be pretty extensive repair to get that put back together. We really like the West systems. With these pumps, you always get the right metered amount of resin. Smells like popcorn. We also really like the 404 filler. This is basically ground fiberglass. It helps really add structural strength to any fiberglass job. Looks good. Yeah, the first pour is always the roughest. But I do make a little tape dam here to get the runoff resin, so it doesn't make a big mess. But this is really, the initial go is pretty rough. But once I've got a shell to work with, I can build everything up. So there'll be a lot of sanding off all this stuff and relaying. So I've made a dam here for the resin, and I've cut multiple layers and strips of fiberglass cloth here. Because it's a compound curve, I've got pieces that go around the cylindrical portion, multiple pieces that act as the flange, and then pieces in between. And I've stitched them all together back and forth with multiple layers. So once this all dries, we'll see how it does. It might need another pass, but we'll be on our way to having an actual flange. I'll be able to sand the edge and then tape it off for the next layer. Looks like we're all dried up now. Well, we've got our missing piece back on here, and then we've created our flange. I need to put the mating ring on here and draw out the proper curve. I left it a little bit oversized. That's a big step in the right direction. Our repair on the blower is going pretty good. I just need to add a little bit at the end here and here, but we've got a good flange. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do a quick pour on each end here to try to build those up just a little bit. Okay, I'm just cutting some pieces of cloth. I'll just lay these up on top of each other. Just gonna lay these guys in here. I just use a throwaway brush because it's done after this. I'm just pouring it in so it can saturate the cloth so that I don't disturb where I place the cloth. Once this soaks it in a little bit, then I'll go ahead and tap it to make sure we get the resin all the way through. So now I'm tapping this. Okay, we'll just keep laying this in. We chipped and painted the rusted metal with OSFO already. So I'm gonna go ahead and just paint the excess resin on some of this stuff because it's under such severe duty and it is not stainless. So rather than just relying on paint to protect this, I'm just gonna go ahead and paint a layer of resin on all this stuff. All right, we're just waiting for it to cure now. We'll come back tomorrow, do the next part. Got a nice seal now of fiberglass here, and we've built up this whole thing. You can really see it from this side, how much was rotted away. And it's just completely rebuilt now with new glass and a new flange where it was just literally missing, and you can hardly tell the difference. It's perfectly a smooth transition, so this should seal and not leak anymore, seawater down and rust like it was. Just have to finish sealing this with resin and then we'll paint it and put it back together. Okay, I'm going to use this ring to get my proper angle on the outside lip here. I got a little bit to take off still around the edge here. So we just got to take off this little bit excess here. We still got a little bit extra there, but I'd rather have a little extra after all it was missing. I'm gonna open this hole back up. All right. I think we're good to go there. Well, functionally it's ready to go back together, but it looks like hell. So now I'll work on the cosmetics. I'm going to try to fix this missing piece also. I really don't need to, but it is pretty thin right there. All right, so we poured that little repair on the flange and then just brushed on some resin over the stuff we've already cleaned with OSFO. If a coat of paint can seal it, a coat of resin will actually seal it a lot better. All right, today we finally put some paint after we finished prepping the motor and belt guard, and we painted the blower itself, of course, so we'll be ready to put it back together soon. The starboard side blower can is all glassed up, repaired, and painted, and we've sanded, prepped, and painted the motor and the belt shroud as well. So we're just going to let everything dry. We'll be ready to go back together. Well, we're trying to thread our belts on here. Which is nice to finally have us at our point where we can do this. The fun part is you've got to thread the belt through this little window here. All right, just like that. Well, we've got it all back together. New belts, all fixed, all because it was rotted out underneath there and making a mess, but it's good to go now. We just need to try it. You going?
Yeah.